I was watching this video by Jake Claver. I'll leave the link in the description. It's actually quite an interesting video, and I believe it's a very, very important one actually for people to watch. And he talks about how the things are going at the moment and the inevitability of the institutions actually steamrolling and taking over crypto altogether. And they would do this by regulations, legalization, illegalization of stuff, etc. It's a great video. I'll leave in the link so you guys can go watch it afterwards. I'll just show you his YouTube channel. 1 second. All right, so this is his YouTube channel. He gets loads of views. He's a big shot. He's a director of some company or the other. I'm sure you guys know of him. He talks a lot about XRP, so it's got a massive audience. That video was released 20 hours ago and it's already pushing 230,000 views, so it's resonating with a lot of people. And I don't want to play it here because I don't know what the copyright scenario is with his video, but basically in that video he was talking about how, you know, if you're here at the moment and you've got crypto, you've got your own sort of stash of crypto that you actually own, you have it on your own storage, that you are one of the very, very few people who, looking back in hindsight when this stuff happens, would have been the only people who have been able to do it. Because what the institutions are doing and what the government are doing are trying their utmost best to lock down all of the avenues that you're going to be able to acquire crypto by yourselves. Now, they do want you to buy crypto eventually. Yes, of course they do. But they want you to buy it through them. So what they're trying to do is take away the bit that makes crypto great, which is the, you know, self-custody, the autonomy, the freedom to move around borders without having to, you know, show your hands as it may. And this is one of the things that Bitcoin maxis hold so dear to themselves, like the ability to just have a wallet and just have it filled with Bitcoin and buy in an exchange that is completely decentralized and swap it out with whatever tokens that you want. And the lack of a middleman that is regulated by the institutions and the government is a big selling point. Now we're in the information age. Some people call it the age of Aquarius. Some people call it, you know, Homo Deus. That's what we're moving into, Homo Deus, where the human becomes absolutely self-aware, autonomous and self-governing. And in which case, you know, city-states start to become something that are irrelevant, not really necessary, because the city-states are there to protect wealth, amongst other things, to keep some people out, some people in, some rules to control, some property, etc. That's a completely different video, which is probably beyond the scope of this one. But I think that this affects not only Bitcoin, obviously, it affects all crypto generally, even XRP. So this is one of the reasons why I stash XRP, not financial advice, of course, to your own research, as much as I can now, because there's coming a time where you're not going to be able to buy XRP. Just like Jake Claver said in this video, there's coming a time where you won't be able to access this stuff directly. The only way you're going to be able to access it is via some sort of derivative, some product that's been wrapped around it, some synthetic product that the institutions are going to sell to you. Now, if you look at the situation with Bitcoin now, just 5, 6, 7 years ago, most Bitcoin was acquired directly, you know, on some exchange or OTC or what have you, going onto, you know, a wallet of some kind that is controlled by a person or an organization with the exact same rules across the board. That is, if you were to lose your keys, then the crypto was gone. You could move it from wallet to wallet. It took the same amount of time. You paid the same amount of network fees. The network fees that you paid wasn't dependent on whether or not you were a whale or a stockfish, or whatever it is the classifications are. This is just based purely on mathematics and computer program, you know, shenanigans. Nothing to do with who you are, where you are, any of that. There was a democratization of money, effectively. However, now, as we speak now in 2025, most BTC, I would say, per day or per month, however you measure it, is purchased via ETFs. And this is run by incredibly large companies like JP Morgan, Fidelity, and of course, BlackRock. And as we go on and on, you know, next cycle, the cycle after that, and even though we're excited about ETFs coming to XRP, that is kind of the how do you call it? That is the downside of things. So while it is good for I guess, the XRP army people who have been stashing XRP this whole time. You have your own XRP, it's sitting in your wallet. When the time comes, since you don't need to necessarily buy more if you don't want to, you can participate in these programs that are going to be generating passive income for you. The, on-chain lending protocol, the ODL, the, staking in different existing DeFi projects for earning yield and stuff, using it as collateral for loans to get houses or cars, whatever it is, money for your grandchildren's tuition in university or what have you. But at that point, buying fresh XRP would be just as difficult as, say, buying property, where you have to go through layers of legislation, layers of existing institutional barriers that you have to cross, and not necessarily getting what you want in the end, wrapped around some sort of synthetic product that could be, clawed back, frozen, taken from you at any time, subject to limits and stuff like that. And at that point, the old hierarchy is restored and you have the old ways move into the new ways. And the establishment basically restores power and order. It's just going to be a new world order, so to say. People like that one. So basically, we are running out of time in a way. The window of opportunity is closing. Now, when people say the window of opportunity is closing in crypto, most people would hear you say that, the price is going to go up. And it's not necessarily just about the price. Yes, the price also has a window of opportunity that closes. You can say that the price goes up forever and, there's going to be always a chance. But what I mean also by that is, and as Jake has said very, very elegantly in this video, the window of the time when you can hop on an exchange, click this, click that, buy this, buy that, transfer it to your wallet and just vanish. That window is already closing very, very fast. Especially, take for instance, back in, say, 2017, 2018, I could very, very easily get on Bittrex, a now defunct exchange at that, or FTX, yet another one, purchase, 5 million worth of XRP or Bitcoin or Ethereum, whatever it is, using a stable coin, USDC, USDT, whatever, or even somehow onboarding USD onto the platform, right? They had actual USD pairs. No KYC as such, even though obviously signing up to Bittrex, they knew who you were, but there wasn't that extensive sort of KYC layered restrictions that we have now. Get your crypto, back it to a ledger token or paper wallet, whatever it is. By the way, those things are all just ways of holding your keys, not actually holding your crypto. Again, I might do a whole video about that because there seems to be a little bit of confusion when it comes to wallet. I think now in 2025, a lot of people actually understand what wallets are finally, but there's still a little bit of confusion. There's nothing actually being held in the wallet itself. It's just a gateway onto the blockchain. Anyhow, so back in those days, I could easily do that. But now in 2025, in order to do that, whether it be Bittrex, Crypto.com, Coinbase, any of those, you have to tell them what this wallet is, who it's for, and all of that information is reported directly to HMRC over here in the UK. Anyway, I don't know how it is in America and other places, such that it is treated almost in the same way as any other transaction in the bank, where point of origin is recorded, point of destination is recorded, and now there are restrictions into how you can actually do that, what time of the day, how much you can move, when, how, if, all sorts of things. And that's only going to get worse as we get into the next year and the next year and the next year and the subsequent years. There's coming a time when obviously we're going to have the digital pound, the digital dollar. I know that Trump said it's not going to happen, but it will happen when he leaves office and another person comes in. They will somehow institute some sort of digital dollar. There's no way around that for sure. But there's coming a time when all of this stuff is going to be clamped down on. And I think crypto autonomy will be moved into the realm of incognito, the dark web, something sort of pseudo legal or even outright illegal, where you can still do it technologically because obviously the maths is there and there's nothing they can do about that. But the big wins that we could easily make in the last 10 years, I think those are going to be clamped down on and curtailed so that, it kind of pulls things back down, because there's no way on earth that governments and institutions are going to give up their power and allow average Joes to run away with how much wealth they're actually holding, which is why we keep getting these crazy manipulation periods where people are being shaken out. But there is a core group of people who understand this more than anything. And those people are holding on to their tokens regardless. They're buying, they're hodling, putting away in some sort of self-hosted solution, and keeping it nice and tight. Taxes is another way they're going to come after us. Already they have retrospective tax inspection. Thankfully, I've been doing mine. If you're interested in doing taxes, by the way, there's a free software that I have always linked in the description. You can use it to monitor yourself, see if you need to pay taxes, especially since the law keeps changing here in the UK, but also in the US or Canada, whatever. It basically can work in any country. You just pick your country and it adjusts to whatever the legal stuff and regulatory stuff in your country is. So that is in the description. If you click on it, I may get commissions if you decide to buy something in the end, but that's not guaranteed. But I'll just disclose that to you. Not financial advice. Do your own research. Very, very quiet week in terms of news because of the government shutdowns. And because of this, we're seeing a lot of movement in some interesting parts of the market, which I'm going to talk about in another video. Peace.